Flight Demonstration Team, the Blue Angels, the United States Air Force Demonstration Team, the Thunderbirds, and the Canadian Forces Flight Demonstration Team, the Snowbirds. These gentlemen, though, do it with just 2 aircraft. Throughout their routine today, you're going to see the same type of maneuvers that are taught to young military pilots during their flight training syllabus. As they perform, you'll see them fly in the 2-ship formation. Each of them will take turns exchanging the lead and the wing position. Then they'll go into a series of maneuvers opposing each other, with closing speeds approaching under 350 miles per hour in these 2 home-built RV-7 and RV-8 aircraft. Flying the lead and going by the call sign of Orca 1 is Stephen Christopher. He is the flight lead, and on his wing is Todd Rudberg as they tied in from your air show right, ladies and gentlemen, in a very tight right wing element, 2-ship element, formation watch now. As Stephen leads the team up and over the top, the wingtip separation of these 2 aircraft is less than 10 feet as they perform a perfect 2-ship element move. Now, all of our performers today are going to be flying the 4 basic aerobatic maneuvers. The move, the roll, the stall turn, and the spin. At Airshow left, the 2 pilots perform a beautiful and graceful aileron roll, still maintaining that very tight, less than 10 feet, wingtip to wingtip separation. As they perform that left wing over at your left, they're now going to set up for the first separation of their performance here today as they come to the Airshow Center stage. The 2 aircraft will pitch up and away. As they do, watch now. Still, less than 10 feet separating the 2 wing tips of the lead and the wing aircraft. Again, Stephen Christopher in the lead. Todd Rudberg on his right wing. Each of these pilots built these aircraft. These are the same type of airplanes that you saw earlier in the Dawn Patrol flight. When Alex comes back, he'll tell you about his team's aircraft, but right now, the RV-7 and the RV-8, as the 2 pilots just executed the perfect transition formation. And now, at Airshow Center Stage, watch for their wings to make 90 degrees for the switchblade cross. But each of them pulling through now, 270 degrees of a turn will meet at the Airshow Center Stage head on, a closing speed of almost 400 miles per hour now, as they will pass each other wingtip to wingtip. Ladies and gentlemen, Undaunted Airshows. Stephen Christopher flying the lead aircraft as an RV-7. It is a side-by-side version of one of the most successful kit-built aircraft in aviation history. More RV kits have been constructed through the years than any other aircraft in aviation history. locations, and at one point even rode a snow machine along the entire route of the Iditarod race trail. Fascinated by flying at a very early age, Stephen would ride his bike to the local airport. It was a grass strip early in the morning during the summertime, and would get home in time for dinner. This is the way many of the pilots that you're going to watch here today begin their interest in aviation, usually riding their bike to the airport. Todd Rudberg is from Kettle Falls, Washington, father of 2 daughters, has a brand new granddaughter named Olivia. Todd also began flying as a very young infant. His dad was a pilot working on his commercial rating. His name was Bill Rudberg, and Bill had a vintage Taylorcraft, a 2-seat 1940s vintage aircraft, and he needed to build time so he could take his licensed flights for his commercial rating. So when he was babysitting his son as an infant, he rigged up a little bit of a couch for Todd to ride in the Taylorcraft, and he went out and flew while Todd was just a baby. So he was introduced to flying at a very early age. This is the opening sequence for the Undaunted Airshow team. They're going to be back later on this afternoon for their full-length feature airshow performance. As our Undaunted team gets set up for landing right now, you'll notice to the far left, the next of our performers, Mr. John Culver, flying his beautiful North American AT-6 SNJ, as it's known in the Navy and Marine Corps, the War Dog. A returning favorite here to the Apple Valley Airshow. John taxiing past right now as he gets set up in preparation for his performance here today. And between him taxiing out and our Undaunted team landing, I'd like to say thank you to the Experimental Aircraft Association, Chapter 768 here at Apple Valley, as long with the Apple Valley Kiwanis Club. Another organization that is providing an opportunity for you to experience flight is Midfield Aviation, based right here at the Apple Valley Airport. And they invite you to stop by their booth and sign up for a free airplane ride. Your air show, right? The smoke is on, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you Captain John Culver and War Dog, his North American SNJ T-6 Texan, and their salute to John and War Dog have had the pleasure of filling audiences across the West Coast for 42 years now. It all began in 1982 with the Porterville, California moonlight fly-in, and since then, they have gone on to perform in major military air shows, including Air Force bases Edwards and Nellis, along with Naval Air Stations El Centro, Lemoore, and Marine Corps Air Stations El Toro, Miramar, and Yuma. John and War Dog even performed for President George H. Bush at the San Diego Air and Space Air Show. Other noteworthy civilian air shows include Huntington Beach, Watsonville, San Francisco's Fleet Week, and the 50th anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge. Of particular interest, John and War Dog flew up to 3 performances a day as part of a 5-day-a-week air show that was put on by the Walt Disney Company, and this was done off of the stern of the Queen Mary in her berth in Long Beach, California. Not only have they flown in some of the biggest air shows, but also some of the smallest, such as the Hiller Museum's biggest little air show. They have flown shows over water, including Catalina, Huntington Beach, San Francisco's Fleet Week, and the USS. Special performances of John's include racing the Smoke and Thunder jet car, jet trucks, and other jet vehicles, circling skydivers, and serving as a skydiving platform. War Dog and John even flew backup pace plane for the Reno Air Races. Career highlights for John have included flying aerobatic formations with another T-6, in a pair of 6s, and with a P-51 Mustang as a member of the North American team. John's flying career started over 50 years ago at the age of 13, and at the age of 16, he soloed 5 different types of airplanes. His aerobatic career started in 1974 at the age of 19. And his first competition was right here at the Apple Valley Airport with the International Aerobatic Club, where he achieved very high rankings in their Gold Cup championships. He continued to advance his career when at age 26 he formed his own aerobatic training school out of Hawthorne, California. Then, 2 years later, inspired by his father, a World War II veteran, John began to fly War Dog and flew his very first air show at Porterville in 1982. Simultaneously, he was flying as a corporate pilot for the Northrop Grumman Corporation, where he flew everything from turboprops to jet aircraft. While at Northrop Grumman, he became a captain and he flew many notable people such as aviation icon Brigadier General Chuck Yeager. And at War Dog, John flew Louis Zamperini, an Olympian and a prisoner of war made known to many through the book and the movie Unbroken. Among the more than 50 different types of aircraft that John has flown through his career are the Goodyear Blimp Columbia and Television's Airwolf helicopter. John and War Dog have been featured in film and numerous national and international publications. And in War Dog, John has logged more than 1,500 airshow performances during his career. As a measure of respect that John carries in the field of aerobatics, it is his designation as one of the airshow industry's aerobatic competency evaluators, entrusted with ensuring the competency of his fellow aerobatic and airshow performers. John has served on the board of airshow events, including the Torrance and Hawthorne Airfairs, along with assisting and organizing the Salinas Airshow and the Travis Air Force Base Airshow. He has organized flights for the 60th anniversary of Pearl Harbor and to commemorate the Doolittle Raiders operation for the San Diego Air and Space Museum. John is well known for his smooth, masterful control of War Dog. Many of the maneuvers you will see today are combat maneuvers taught to aviators during World War II. Unlike fighter aircraft, the T-6 is relatively underpowered for its weight. Although John makes the moves look effortless, they require a very high degree of skill and planning to fly in the airshow environment. John's airplane War Dog is a North American SNJ-5 Texan, built at North American's Dallas, Texas facility. It came off the assembly line December the 12th, 1944. Originally, the airplane was based in Orange County, California at Marine Corps Air Station El Toro, which is now very well known as the Great Park. War Dog belonged to VMT-2 Training Squadron, and you'll notice the large WD painted on the vertical fin and rudder of the aircraft. That stands for Walt Disney. It was Walt Disney who designed El Toro's mascot, Ferdinand the Bull, the red bull with the small wings that is used as the base mascot. In reciprocation, the Marines in El Toro painted WD on all of the aircraft that were based at El Toro. When John acquired War Dog, he chose to restore her to her original paint scheme from her El Toro days. The green stripes on her wings indicate that this aircraft was an instrument trainer. In 1946, after serving at El Toro, she was reassigned to serve at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar in San Diego, California. Later, she was assigned to the Naval Training Command, where she was used for carrier qualifications for the USS Cabot off the coast of Pensacola, Florida. In the 1950s, War Dog was retired from the United States Navy and was sent to Japan to serve in the Japanese Self-Defense Force. After several years of service with the Japanese, War Dog was retired and was due to be scrapped. Instead, she was saved along with several other T-6 Texans when they were purchased by civilians in the United States. John helped with this aircraft restoration and eventually it became its sole owner. Today, John's performance is consistent with speed range in his maneuvers from 60 miles an hour to level up to 3,000 feet over the airport. War Dog is powered by a Pratt & Whitney R1340 radial engine producing 600 horsepower and supplied with a supercharger. The airplane has a wingspan of 42 feet. She's 29 feet long with a top speed of 250 miles per hour and a stall speed of right around 60 miles per hour. As a trainer, the airplane weighs about 5,800 pounds, a heavy but well-suited airplane for training activities. The propeller is 108 inches long, and the distinctive sound you hear from the nose of the aircraft when John makes his passes, not coming from the engine, but coming from the tips of the propeller blades as they go supersonic. The North American T-6 Texan was designed as an advanced fighter trainer in 1938. In World War II, pilots started training on the primary trainer, the Boeing Stearman, which is what you will see flying later on today. And eventually they found their way into fighter aircraft such as the B-51 Mustang. The airplane was known as the pilot maker and was used by all branches of the military. The T-6 Texan trained more military pilots than any other airplane in history. It gave the best possible training in all types of tactics, from ground strafing to bombardment and aerial dogfighting. Some of the equipment typically found on the T-6 include bomb ramps, blind instrumentation, standard cameras, and 30 caliber fixed and flexible machine gun. During the Korean War, the United States Air Force and Marine Corps used the plane as a forward air control aircraft. And during the Vietnam War, the French also used the T-6, but in the role of a light attack airplane. More than 15,000 examples of this aircraft were produced. From 1938 on to the early 1950s, when the last of the T-6 Texans rolled off the assembly line. In the early days of the United States Navy Flight Demonstration Team, the Blue Angels, they used a T-6, also known as the SNJ in Navy and Marine Corps, as part of their tactical demonstration. The airplane was painted yellow and called Beetlebomb. During a simulated dogfight, the Blue Angels would use the F-6F Hellcat that they were flying at the time to shoot down Beetlebomb. The military of today has bestowed a great honor on the T-6 Texan by naming its current state-of-the-art advanced trainer the Texan II. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as John is getting set up for his final pass here today and eventually his landing here in just a few moments, I have a question I would like to ask all of you in the audience. Are there any veterans in the audience today or any active duty military personnel? If you are in the audience, would you raise your hand or would you stand up and acknowledge yourself, please? If you are a veteran or active duty service personnel, would all of you join with me in applauding all of our veterans and all of our active duty service personnel? Thank you for the freedom that we enjoy. We would not be able to be here today were it not for you and the sacrifices that your families have made. John dedicates his airshow performance to all of you today. Many veteran pilots and many modern-day pilots who have trained in the T-6 have kind of a common thought process that they share with anybody who's ever flown one of these airplanes, that the T-6 was so challenging to fly as a training see a pair of P-51 Mustangs and a King Cobra fly later on in today's airshow performance, but if you flew...
You gotta be really tough, and he's 83 years old. You wanna arm wrestle him? He's gonna come up after the show around the flight line, and you can arm wrestle him if you want. And if you have a cookie, he'll take it away from you. He's a cookie monster. Here comes Miss Stephanie Getz.
This is the most beautiful of all this.
Correct. He is known worldwide to fly the Zlin aircraft, and they're based in the Czech Republic. And the Zlin 50, Rob, was known to fly for many years. It's like a Ferrari of the airplanes. So this one, very few aerobatic airplanes are a two-seater, and this one in particular is even more rare, is side by side. So when we fly together, we could throw the maneuvers, and sometimes it's me flying, sometimes it's him. When we're actually together in the airplane, he goes to sleep and makes me fly. So it's okay. We take flights to New York to see our family. We go to Vermont. You take off from any airport just like this, and you get in your plane and you go. You don't have to go through TSA. You just get in and go like you go in your car. And you know, for all the people out there, it's never too learn to fly. He's 83. I bought an airplane before I got my license. I was 21. And we have traveled all over the US, and it's such an experience. We've also flown in the Czech Republic, right at the factory, because Rob bought his other airplane. It was custom built for Rob. So, you guys, you get in the mood. Ladies, you can get off, you can take off from Apple Valley, go land at Camarillo, go shoe shopping at Camarillo Mall, fly back, you miss all that traffic. You're there in an hour or less.
You say that, now the husbands are shaking their pants.
You spend a lot of money flying just by going places to go shopping.
I can see the husbands out there saying, am I going to have to buy her an airplane too?
Yeah, and you know, I like to go places that, you know, like Sedona takes 6 hours to drive there, but I'm there in like an hour, 20 minutes. Absolutely amazing to fly through this desert. You know, we have great weather here in California. We're so spoiled. So the flying, especially here in Apple Valley, it's like this every day. Hardly any days you're stopped for flying. And if you think flying is too expensive, some of those jet skis cost more than an airplane. Some of those motorhomes, some of those side-by-sides. Almost anybody can afford a plane. So anyway, let's see where he's at. This airplane has a long motor. The long motor, what's interesting, is upside down from your typical airplane, and the propeller spins the opposite direction. So when you fly this plane, you gotta do everything backwards. Here comes Mr. Anthony.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about
Right here is Mr. Don't forget Rob is flying. There he goes. And you know, it's a little warm today. It's probably about 20 to 25 degrees warmer inside that cockpit. There's no air conditioning. Although the higher you go, the cooler it gets. But we have something called density altitude. So right now, okay, honey, try the tumble. We're watching. Yeah, it's a tough maneuver. It gets a little tougher when it's warm because I was talking about the density altitude. So, easy, simple way to explain that, it feels hotter and the altitude feels higher. So let's say he's flying at 5,000 feet, it can act like he's flying at 10,000 feet. So it's a little more warm air going through that engine. But it's a real fun plane to fly. If you guys ever get a chance, go for a flight. You know, like, it's a great birthday present. Some airports offer $99 introductory flights. Go for it. You'll be hooked. And here he is. He's going to do that tumble. He's positioning it right now. He's pushing it. This plane will go up to 250 miles an hour on the down speed. And now there he goes, flipping it. 83 years old. You're never too old to do this. Woohoo! That was good, honey. Let's ask, do you guys want to see one more? Say it loud so I can hear you. You heard them? You heard them? They said yeah. Okay. So you know, after he lands, Rob will be coming around the golf cart with autographed cards. And you want to get one because at 83, he may retire soon. And he's been flying air shows for about 32 years. He's my husband, so I can't say he's a legend, but others consider him a legend. He's been doing it longer than anybody else. There is no one in the air show industry older than Rob flying air shows. And he's a cookie monster. I think that's how he does these maneuvers. I had to go to last night, pick up some cookies for him so he could do this today. Look at the sky, you guys. This is like amazing. If you have photos you're taking today, share them on our Facebook page or Instagram, Apple Valley Airshow. Here we go. We're watching. You know, Rob, he loves you more sometimes than flying this. He will spend 3 hours autographing cards, taking pictures. That's what he loves the most. Rob is an aerospace engineer. Woo-hoo. Can you believe he's doing that? Okay, he's going to be landing here pretty soon. He'll probably need a drink of water, and then he's going to come around the golf cart, and he'll sign autograph cards for you. You guys have a great...
And on the takeoff roll, ladies and gentlemen, the next of our air show performers, the lovely Stephanie Getz and the beautiful pink L-39 Albatross, the pink jet, dedicated to breast cancer awareness. Stephanie will fly the jet today and will tell you all about the very meaningful performance and the reason that she is flying this aircraft. Stephanie Getz, and we're going to tell you all about Pink, the beautiful pink L-39 Albatross that she is flying here today. The Pink Jet is a non-profit organization dedicated to spreading breast cancer awareness, supporting survivors, and raising money for a cure, and doing all of this through aviation. Breast cancer, often deadly if not detected and treated early, leaves many women disfigured and emotionally devastated. Awareness and early detection are the key in preventing this. The Pink Jet promotes awareness and raises funds directly for breast cancer organizations by flying the Pink Jet at air shows throughout the United States. This L-39 Albatross jet is piloted by an extraordinarily talented young lady, and it symbolizes strength, hope, compassion, and resilience. Stephanie Getz is a modern-day Renaissance woman. She is an L-39 instructor pilot and also flies a Bombardier Global 6000 for one of the world's largest private jet companies. Additionally, she is an award-winning former news and sports anchor for NBC, CBS, and ABC. Stephanie is also a businesswoman, an executive communication and leadership coach, a philanthropist, professional singer, and a TEDx speaker. Now, Stephanie was also impacted by breast cancer because of her mother, who is a stage 3 breast cancer survivor. Stephanie knows the physical and emotional toll that breast cancer takes. This is what has fueled her passion for supporting survivors and raising funds for a cure. The organization behind the Big Jet, Aerial Angels, is proud to have Stephanie Getz as one of the elite pilots of the Big Jet, promoting this breast cancer awareness and early detection. Now, when Stephanie is not instructing or flying somewhere around the United States, she is giving back to the aviation community. She also writes articles for publications such as Aviation for Women. She is on the aviation nonprofit board for Women in Aviation, Stars of the North Chapter, and a former member of FAST, Female Aviators Sticking Together. Stephanie's very passionate about bringing the industry together and elevating the underrepresented groups in aviation, such as females and minority groups. And you can see why. Women make up only 6% of the pilots in the United States, and minority groups make up even less than that. She and her husband give several flight scholarships away each year, including a multi-engine commercial rating at $5,000 price through Women in Aviation, and several multi-engine flight ratings to students at the Luke Brothers Flight Academy in Memphis, Tennessee. The flight school, the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals. The airplane that Stephanie is flying is a 1979 Aerobatics L-39C Albatross. It is a 2-seat basic and advanced jet training aircraft, and also has been utilized in the role of a light ground attack aircraft, manufactured by the Aerobatics company. The airplane first flew in November of 1968. The airplane is 15 feet 8 inches tall, has a wingspan of 31 feet and a length of 39 feet, almost 40 feet. With a range of 593 nautical miles, it's a great cross-country jet, capable of reaching an altitude ceiling of a little over 36,000 feet and capable of climbing vertically at about 4,100 feet per minute. With a maximum speed of 529 miles per hour, the normal cruise speed is right around 400, and this burning about 140 gallons per hour. Currently around the world, there are 32 air forces or major military forces that use the aircraft as part of their inventory. This jet was recently donated to Aerial Angels, and it was painted in the pink color that you see Stephanie flying in to embody the very noble mission that the Big Jet does. The founders of Aerial Angels, having witnessed family, friends, and colleagues battle breast cancer, coupled their concern with a love of aviation to create this Big Jet. His enthusiasm for using aviation as further awareness and to encourage early detection led to the generous gift of this former successful Botanian fighter jet that has been repurposed to preserve life in the fight against breast cancer. With the support of generous individual and corporate donors, the Pink Jet has been transformed and made its world debut at the Experimental Aircraft Association's Air Venture in Wisconsin just this past July. And this was followed by a performance at the Wings Over Camarillo Airshow in Southern California this past August. Eventually, the Pink Jet is going to be piloted by an all-female team with the goal of reaching more and more women across the United States, as well as inspiring young women to reach their goals in aviation. The ultimate goal is for a fleet of Pink Jets, 5 to 6 of these aircraft, all flown by female